Thank you. I think
Great.
I think we need to see this on the panel because we can't see the transmission on the panel. Good
So
morning.
can you see us well?
Good morning.
Is that clear? Yeah. So let me first. I have lost the sound slightly, but yes, now I can hear it. So firstly, let me welcome you all to India Live 2017. I obviously could not be present personally, but it's been a great program which has been created by us. You've already heard that from Dr. Paul, and we hope this is going to be a very beneficial 2.5 days of exchange of ideas, exchange of expertise, and exchange of knowledge, and certainly research and academics for the country. I'm very excited about the program and excited about the fact that despite the turbulence over the last month which we've had in the field of interventional cardiology, related to caps, related to allegations, related to our profession, that the industry has supported and the interventional cardiologists have taken the forefront to support academics and India Live. So I'm thankful to everybody who's actually been a part of this great meeting. And let's work together to actually create a new dimension in interventional cardiology as we go ahead. So those are my thoughts based on what's been happening, and we will assure that we will come through all this and everything will settle down to best benefit every stakeholder in this situation. I must introduce my colleagues here, and then we'll go on to the TAVR phase. With me on my left is Dr. Yugal Mishra, Director of Cardiac Surgery. He's a very integral part of the program, very interested in valve therapies, and we always have him with us for our TAVR cases. You very well know who stands at least a foot above us, and we have to look up to him, is Dr. Chevalier from France, and great friend, great colleague, and he's been into this lab in the past, so welcome. And then we have Dr. Vijay Kumar, our senior principal consultant and coordinator for the TAVR program, and Vijay is a very integral part of the team. And then we have Dr. Vishal Rastogi, principal consultant and a very close colleague, and again a very integral part of the TAVR team. We have our echo imaging specialist, both director of imaging and echocardiography in Dr. Radha Krishnan and Dr. Omar here. So they're looking at transesophageal echocardiography. And then we have a team of dedicated 3 techs and 3 nurses who are always there in our TAVR team. So this is the case, and I will ask my colleague to present the TAVR transmission of this patient.
Good morning, everybody. So today we have 87 years gentleman who has the history of coronary artery disease existing from 1999, and he had small MIs. His ejection fraction was preserved to 50% till 2016, and he had total of 7 stents which we checked in 2016. He had his last PCI done in 2016 to a circumflex. The stents are patent, and now he presented 2 months back with shortness of breath, which worsened over a period of 1 month, last 1 month, and he was afraid that his either valve has gone into problem or his coronary artery disease is coming back. His echo was done, which revealed that his mild to moderate aortic stenosis, which was reported in the past, had degenerated to severe aortic stenosis with a valve area of 0.8, and his systolic function of the heart had dropped down to 40% from 55, which was till 2016, mid of 2016. So his aortic stenosis was evaluated by us and was found to be severe aortic stenosis with a low flow and low ejection fraction, or low systolic LV systolic dysfunction with low gradient of mean PG around 28 to 30 millimeters mercury. We performed a dobutamine stress echo on him, and his pressure gradient increased to 38, and looking into his valve area by planimetry of 0.9, he was definitely a severe aortic stenosis case, and we had the option of deciding whether he goes for SAVR and versus TAVR. So the risk stratification was done. He's 87 and moderately frail. So by the 2014 guidelines, definitely he falls into a STS score of 5%, which stands as an intermediate risk. But if you combine his frailty and his age, he could be close to the high risk category, and the family would not want him to go for an open heart surgery at this age. His creatinine clearance is 35.69, which is again a moderately impaired kidney function. He doesn't have any other major organ dysfunction. He has no other procedural impediments as regards TAVR was concerned. Now we go to the subsequent slides and the CT analysis. This is the echo analysis which showed the pressure gradient of 28, and this is the summary of the CT analysis that was done for the aortic valve complex, which is very important in terms of deciding the valve size. And the perimeter of the annulus was found to be 82.8 of mean of 26.4. His aortic annulus diameter, minimum diameter was 23 and the maximum was 28. His sinus of Valsalva, sinus of Valsalva height, diameter, coronary ostia, they are all in the acceptable range, fairly good for TAVR. Next slide. So this was the analysis of the peripheral vasculature, which decides the access site, and he has minimum of 6.6 size of the right external iliac, and that is compatible with the new generation delivery catheter system. Next. So we have next slide. This is the summary, and this is the CT analysis. This is a CT picture. So next slide. And the LVOT diameter was also fairly good, ascending aorta normal size. Next. And you can see some calcification on the aortic leaflets, not dense, moderately calcific valve. You'll have a picture on the echo also subsequently. Next slide. And the coronary ostia height have been...
In the interest of time, I would just like to say that he's got a perimeter of around 82, and we have, that's a very borderline, 82.8. Now that's a very borderline for a 4-valve Evolute R 29 millimeters versus a 4-valve of 31 millimeters. We don't have Evolute R of 34 millimeters in the country at the moment. So we've actually, after a lot of discussion, have selected to go for a 29 millimeter Evolute R, which is a recapturable valve technology, and quite a self-centric and safe technology. Now, I must also say that we have led this TAVR program in this country. I'm sure most of you know that the first ever case of 4-valve, the proof of concept, started with us at the Fortis Escorts Heart Institute in 2004 with Jack Seen in the board doing the first ever case of 4-valve implantation in an inpatient with aortic regurgitation, and that was the first in-man study. And then, of course, that we've led this program since its inception and brought it into the country through compassionate use, and then subsequently wanted to do the study which was mandated by FDA of India, and but then luckily through our persuasion the FDA understood the facts that it had to approve this device 3 months ago. So we've led this program and we've done fairly well with our results, and so I'll just show you our initial pictures, the implantation view which is being seen here. It is LAO 12, caudal 3. And while you can do the discussion, and a lot would also get answered by Bernard in the discussion, we would continue with the case and actually keep showing you the steps also. In this case, there can be discussions. Yes, we can do the discussion as soon as we finish the case, but just to show you how we actually go through all this, we have already got our access to the left. We've actually got a first we get a pigtail into the right next. And then once we have the pigtail down onto the right side, next. And then next. And we now have can we have the fluoro, please? Yeah. So we have a pigtail now on this side, and nicely positioned next. And into the circle of the pigtail, I now puncture the artery, and that's punctured right. Nicely. Next. Having shoved the wire through, it's very important to withdraw the pigtail at the same time, as has been done by my colleague Vijay, because we've had a situation where we per-close the pigtail. Next, we then put in pre-closed sutures, as we've done. 2 per-close pro-glide at 10 and 2, and that's pre-closed very well. And then we pass extra stiff wire, Amplax wire, into the aorta. Next, and then various dilators going from 10, 12, 10, 14, and then the dilator of the sheath itself. And having done the pre-dilatation, next, and I think then we get to the sheath, and that's an 18 French sheath which goes up nicely into the descending aorta, and it's positioned there. So having done that, we then have passed next. We passed balloon tip pacing wire and tested that, and we've also positioned the pigtail into the non-coronary cusp for 6 French pigtail next. And you can see that in the implanter's view, it's well situated, and this is the implanter's view. So we are at this point, and I think we should move ahead and try and cross the valve.
Ashok, can you hear us from the auditorium?
Next.
The loading valve.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Next, and we've also checked the valve, which is already loaded. Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay, so
And Bernard, can you hear them as well?
Yes, I can hear.
Right. So we have a couple of questions. First question is, you said this is
Yeah,
a
please go ahead.
borderline 29, and this is moderately aortic stenosis is calcified, but we can see that it's quite calcified on the fluoro. So I don't think, Ganesh, what size core valve you will use in this Evolute? 29 should be ideal, I think.
Now that we have the 34, I probably would use the 34 in our unit. But prior to this, we would probably, if we had no choice, I would have used the 8.3. But if there's heavy calcification of concern, then I would use the 29, but I would not pre-dilate and just go straight to the valve.
And Raj, do you think this is a horizontal aorta? Ashok, means on the CT reconstruction, the aorta is quite horizontal. Have you taken that into account?
It is reason. Yeah, it is reason.
You know, with
Sorry.
the resheathable
You-
valves,
you-
you just end up getting good results whether or not the aorta is horizontal.
I think that is the beauty of using Evolute R here, that you can get an ideal position, and if you are not happy, you can resheath it once it's deployed to 80%. And you can play with the wire and alignment to get an ideal position. So I think this is a good strategy for this patient. Is there any surgeon in the auditorium other than me?
You know,
I think most surgeons would agree that this is definitely a TAVI candidate. It's not a
I actually wanted to say that you know, we don't need to sound apologetic for doing TAVI in an 87-year-old. You know, we shouldn't be apologetic about doing it even in an 80-year-old now, given the data that the STS, or at least you know, the way it is approved in the US is you don't even need to really calculate the STS. If the heart team thinks that the mortality is more than 3%, you can go ahead and do TAVI in that patient.
I would, while they're crossing, I think they've just crossed the aortic valve. I would like to ask the panelist on the other side, how is the heart team in India looking like at present? Means are surgeons actively involved? They're keen that they involve these patients into TAVR? How's it in Chennai?
yeah, I mean, I'll be very, very clear that surgeon should be very much involved into TAVR and actually be a part of that, even doing TAVR. I think it's a combined procedure. I feel more and more, and I've been discussing this a lot with Jigal, who's actually, you know, I'm sure very soon get onto the front steps of all this.
I completely agree.
We had some challenges initially where we were not relying on the surgeons, but of late now we're getting together. We're having a good, robust heart team. So we're discussing every case and we decide. It's getting better.
I think once the surgeons see such cases, these are probably
By the
ideal
way,
cases, 80 plus. And I'm sure they would get convinced that
I
this
just
is
want you to know that we've created a center of excellence of valve therapy, and we've actually ordered one of the latest generation of hybrid labs, which we should have very soon on a surgical floor, hybrid theaters, and I think that's going to be the way forward for us. As we now, I'm not very happy about the positioning of this pigtail. I always want it to be free, and so what I'm doing here is just making sure that we have it well in the best position top when we position our confida wire.
Absolutely. So I
And
think
it should be totally free. So
I can
until
see that
I don't
you
think I'm
have
gonna
used
pick the
RAO
confida
view now
wire
to
because
position
I
your
think-
wire. It's a very important step
yes.
because the last thing you want in this patient is an LV trauma in terms of perforation
There
or
it is.
interference with any mitral apparatus
here-
which may happen. So this looks like a very
This
good
is
position now.
good. And the
Raj,
area
do you
view.
agree?
Yeah. So
I ask a question. This is Bob Applegate. When you have a horizontal aorta like
Hello, Bob.
this,
Hello. Welcome
I
to
think,
India.
And you don't have a commitment to one valve type or another, is there perhaps a balloon expandable advantage in this situation?
Absolutely. I think it's not in terms of the valve itself, but the delivery system, where with the distal flex you can get a better alignment with the Sapien 3 valve. You could make an argument you could use a completely retrievable, repositionable device like Lotus, for example, in a very challenging anatomy, which has got a pre-curved sheath as well. So it's a combination of device and delivery system which plays important role in complex anatomies. Dr. Kim, do you have experience with both Sapien and Fortis?
In such kind of horizontal aorta, I prefer.
Folks, are you okay with the
expanded
wire?
system.
I'm just going to
in
interrupt.
Avlotar, as well
So
as
that
the
are you
Lotus,
okay?
is a little bit difficult to align, to make the line ideal, especially in Lotus system. It may be difficult to
How's it
see
looking?
the lock process when the heart is too horizontal. Because in this case, we usually prefer Sapien 3 system.
Right, folks. I'm going to interrupt now so that we can have a conversation here as well. I think I've got the wire in nice position, and I guess you saw that through the pigtail we were able to get a position. Are you all happy with this position? I am happy.
I think
So
it
I think
looks
it
very
seems
good.
to be sitting properly.
And you're using a
And
confida
I
wire.
think that's a very important aspect. Would you, using a confida wire, and I'd like him to comment, Bernard, on why these wire positions are so important and that the perforation is actually a reality, isn't it, at the end of the day?
No, I think it's a nice position, as you said, and clearly
Let's go to the implanter's view.
appreciate why like confida is interesting to limit the risk of perforation, LV perforation.
Good. Dr. Radhakrishnan and Dr. Omar tell us that he is not caught in any of the trabeculae, that it's away from the mitral valve. There's no great mitral regurgitation being caused by the wire, and I think on the horizontal aorta we can see that. Now, this is the inline sheath of this, and I want you to focus on this here, and you can see that we've got the inline sheath, but it's not important at the moment because we've got an 18 French sheath, and I always find that good, so it's okay. So we're going to actually now, I want to always see the wire. Let's go to the fluoro, let's go to that, and I always want to see the flower because we got the sheath in. I'm not so worried about getting this up. So keep an eye on the wire, and I'm going up on this valve. I'm going through the sheath, and you hold this wire carefully, and don't let the wire move forward. And here it comes. We are in the implanter's view. Keep the wire exactly at the same place, and let it come through over and above. And that's it. And slowly, and keep the wire and hold the wire, and we actually go through. Now there are two things to watch out here. So we've done this job nicely. The wire didn't move. We can leave the wire now. And the important thing is that has the pigtail slipped at all, because that is very important. It's my marker. So I'm just going to give a puff on the pigtail and see what's happening. So can we have an injection on the pigtail of 5 mm? And I'm happy. So my pigtail is in position, and now we actually move to actually make the marker band horizontal on this. So can we actually go to the caudal view and see whether we can have the marker band horizontal? So caudal, please. Yeah, and that's the marker band horizontal. And another puff, please. Another puff. Good.
Excellent.
So we are low, But then this is where we are actually. You can leave the wire. Now no more wire. Now I want Vijay. You could actually. So I'm asking my colleague Dr. Vijay to actually start rotating this back slowly because we are all ready. Before you rotate back, one of the important things is to ask our anesthetist, and I tell you, our anesthetist is great. He is devoted to this technique. Ashutosh, I forgot to introduce him, so I apologize. Is Ashutosh everything okay? Fine.
Okay, I take care of it, maybe.
Yeah, okay, so Bernard is going to unsheath it, and we're going to actually have check slowly, Bernard. So
This
we
is
want to do it very slowly, very gently.
This is a very important step that what they have done is from the implanter view they
Check.
used to cross, they have gone to another view. That's the concept of double S curve, and it's relevant in self-expandable devices, not so much relevant in balloon expandable. So that is a very
Now,
important difference if you are
so-
using two
so-
valves to accommodate.
Pass kar do. So Bernard is withdrawing the sheath,
So Ashok, as you are
and
unsheathing,
I'm going to try and keep it.
what are you looking at present? How
Yeah.
do you determine your depth? Is it the marker on the sheath or is it the lower part of the evolutar?
It's both, not the marker on the sheath. Let me just ease it off, and then I'll tell you. It's actually the band that we see, and here it is. Okay, now just slow down, Bernard. Bernard, just leave it. So if you see now, and I'll just take a cine of it, you have the first band just below, my pigtail is just below the first dark band, should we say,
Okay.
and that is 6 millimeters. So if I inject, I'll probably be at 3 millimeters. Can we just have an injection?
So that's the
Can we have an
junction
injection? 5 ml injection?
of the struts.
So you see I'm at 3-4 millimeters.
I think that's good.
Is that correct? You
Yes.
see me at 3 to 4 millimeters?
Raj?
Yeah, I think it's
I mean,
okay.
as long as we don't
So
come
Bernard
back
says
anymore.
it's okay,
I think
so we
I
just
think we
move
have
it
to
a
be
bit
careful.
more.
Yep. I think
Yeah.
you should just continue doing the case, and there will be some discussions in the background.
Yeah, I will do. Continue doing the case. Can we withdraw the? Just slow down, Bernard.
Ganesh, is it,
Withdraw
is
the
it,
T probe,
is it
please,
the
yeah.
tendency of this device or any self-expandable
withdraw
long
slightly more.
device to dive inside? It's that important
I'm
maneuver,
deep,
isn't
so
it?
I'm
That
gonna come back a
there's a
bit.
good coordination between two operators. One is pulling it at one point and the other is unsheathing it.
So the original core valve, those who used it, will dive quite a bit. But with the Evolut R and the resheathable technology, I must say it's fairly stable. It tends to stay where you leave it. And even the 34, I've now
We
used
have-
about 6 of them in the
You
last 2
don't see
weeks.
it opening up.
It's amazingly
It's
stable.
coming, it's coming.
The objective is to have the first intersection show. When you're watching the video, as they keep going, you'll notice as the valve expands, the first intersection
Yeah.
ideally should be above
Now
the
it's clearing.
sinus plane.
So let's just hold it there.
So Ganesh, do you tend to pace? We tend to pace it at 100, and then for a short while.
And we
do
let it flow. Okay.
130.
Now can we
140,
have a puff?
And then go back to 100.
I must say, the only time
This
I
looks
used to
good.
pace was a 31
I
valve.
think so.
But in the last 6,
Okay,
34
so
I've done, I've
just a
not needed to
moment.
pace.
Now
It's
again, puff.
amazingly stable. I think the spine of
Yeah,
the
good,
Evolut R
good.
has stabilized the
So
valve.
now
quite a
can we face?
Any
110?
comments from other side?
Yeah.
We are a
And
bit
can we
further
just
away.
open? We are
Comments?
pacing now,
Is it
and
sagging?
we're letting it open.
I would say one thing that
Yeah, puff and
they are
open.
doing a great job of being
Puff
patient
and
in
open.
deploying this valve.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I think
Okay,
the thought would be
open
to let
and
it deploy
puff.
itself.
I think the slow deployment it's very controlled,
Yeah.
as you can see. The hemodynamics,
Yeah.
although we can't see it, we assume they're stable.
Open.
That's very important that unlike the older days, we have learned that deployment of the tower doesn't need adrenaline infused atmosphere and a quick hurried deployment, but you can
Now,
do it in a
give me
controlled
a puff.
manner. There's a
Yeah,
question
yes,
from
sir.
the audience.
Good.
So how do you
Open.
define the success of
So this is where we would go up
valve
to
in valve in valve, valve
130
in
or
valve,
140.
magnetic valve? That's number one. Number
Go up to 120
we know that
pacing.
in valve in valve,
130. Okay.
is made a
Keep going
revolution.
back.
We can't hear you
Show me.
properly. So first question is,
Give him
How
a
do you
puff.
de- how do you
how do you define the
Good.
success of valve, heavy or
Keep going back,
in
Bernard.
native valve, valve in valve, or
Keep
valve
going,
in valve?
keep going, keep going, keep
Right,
going, keep going.
Number two,
Keep
in
going,
valve in
keep going,
valve,
keep
the
going,
minimum
keep going,
Bamper's
keep
law
going.
has revolutionized the
Yeah, bit more, bit
sizing
more,
and the
bit more,
choice
bit
of the
more,
valve.
bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more,
So,
bit more, bit more.
what type of valve you choose in valve in valve? It's
Stop
granular,
pacing.
Annular or LV valve?
Stop pacing. And come back.
Can we discuss this just
so-
after
so
deployment?
move
Because
back a
this
bit
is
more,
a slightly
Bernard.
advanced question
Bernard,
in terms of.
unsheath a bit more.
I think it's very relevant once they deploy the valve. We can come back to this
Okay,
very
let's see.
important question: is how do you define success of the procedure?
I think it's okay in terms of pressure.
Remove parallax.
Yep.
You remove parallax and see. So we're just waiting for the pressures to come up.
Yep.
How does it look on the echo?
So Ganesh
So
and Raj,
no broadening of the QRS complex.
this is not unusual to see a pressure drop at this point because I assume the aortic valve, the native valves block, and the evolutar leaflets are not yet fully or even partially open.
A couple of things about the
The
evolute
pressure
R.
is okay. We have 50 diastole. It's not fully open, so
Okay, so now we're going to actually see a puff and see what's the status.
Yep, I think
Can we just correct the parallax? So can we get the TE probe back?
I think the best
The
thing
pressures
sometimes
are
is
coming
to
up and
go
now
up
I've reached
to
100
80%.
systolic.
The marker band and the evolute R is not where the sleeve is. The sleeve is about a centimeter below the marker band. So sometimes I tend to take the marker band nearly just below the radiopic part in order for your
So we
superior valve to
can
start
go
functioning.
back a bit. We can take it back a bit more. Because I think we can get closer. Yeah, let's take it back a bit more.
no, I would check
Okay,
like this.
Bernard
Yeah.
is more comfortable
Yeah.
leaving it here. So I'm going to check this and see what we have. So another 15 ml.
This is up to
And
60%
have you removed the
deployment.
parallax?
at
So
present.
let's see. No, we haven't. Go cranial. Cranial. Go cranial. Go
If you
cranial.
just
Go
try to
cranial.
pull back, you're going to go deeper on the
No,
other
not too much, not too much. No. Go caudal.
So what we're trying to do is remove this parallax.
Okay.
I think it's okay.
No, it's okay.
It's no, it's okay.
Too much caudal.
So come back. Come back. Less.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do this. Cine. Without injection. No, firstly, I'll tell you. Firstly, we're going to do a cine without injection to see whether we've removed the parallax. No. So can we just go a bit more caudal? Let's see.
No.
Yeah. You okay with that, Ganesh?
Looks alright. Why don't you just try straight AP?
As
or
far as
something?
parallax is concerned? Okay, so let's have an injection 15 ml. Center, center. What do you think about the positioning?
I think it's not bad.
I think it's going to
Lower on the
correct itself when you release it. It slightly looks lower on
Correct.
the left side, but it's going to come up.
But you need to push on it, huh?
So we will push on it
Yeah.
when and let it orient, and then it will probably come back
Yes,
Yeah.
on that side.
absolutely.
It's important to have a very significant push on it, huh?
Okay, so let's go again to the implanter's view. Here.
How about
Okay, and now what
EKG?
I'm going to do is when we release it, I'm actually going to be sure that firstly there's no tension on the wire, and secondly, LAO, the implanter's view, we're going to actually make sure that we have no pull on it either. So okay, let's go ahead.
Okay. Can you remove the pigtail maybe?
I will remove it later. It's
Okay, it's okay. So you push on it now?
Yeah, I'm pushing on it.
Okay. I will go very slowly. I think it's very important at this
Now is it
point.
looking deep? Can we just stop? Is it
Ashok,
looking
Ashok.
deep?
I think it looks
Can
a
we
bit
just
deep.
an injection and see?
It does look deep.
Can we just do an
Don't
injection?
release it. Yeah, I think it looks a little deep, but let's take the angiogram. Yes, it is a bit
Yeah,
deep,
it's
so I'll
very
resheath it
Yeah.
now.
I think it has just slipped forward a bit.
So we'll sheet it. Yeah.
I think
So and that's right.
During
Right, okay, let's now reposition it.
Uh,
That's it.
yeah, but the pressure, we need, yeah, okay. It's,
Okay, good. So we are again going to position it. And let's go to the implanter's view again.
During resheathing,
Yeah.
it's
We are in the implanter
very,
view.
very important that the sheathing is done slowly and it doesn't
Show
pop
me.
out as well, because otherwise you have to
Show
resheath
me.
it completely.
And you want to resheath it completely
Yeah.
so that
Show
it can be
me.
pushed in easily or pulled out, or is that fine?
Inject
No,
5
there's-
ml.
In fact, there is no need to resheath it completely. You resheath it in such a way
Completely.
that it
Don't
doesn't in
resheath
fact
it
pop
more.
out.
No, I don't
Okay,
want to
now
more.
inject.
Keep it subannular.
Sorry.
Then you
inject.
reposition and start deploying again. That's the best way to
Ha-
do it.
Okay,
Maybe
so
to
we'll,
pull
we'll
it,
start
it's easier.
deploying
If you want
again.
to push it, go deeper, we have to resheath it completely, is it?
Just a moment. Just a moment. Show me pressures. Why is the pressure disconnected? Okay. Sure.
We did
So there's a
discuss
pressure line to be changed and
horizontal
then we're going to
aorta,
change
and I
that
think this
contrast.
is why probably the alignment is harder. And Ganesh, do you think that
The
using a
key
bigger
thing about-
valve would have been easier?
Well, I think the key thing with when you have a horizontal aorta and a borderline anatomy is to go as high as you can. Because if you do not go high, very high, then the valve will do what it did. It is to slip in during the race. So what I will do here is maybe push the valve a little bit, let the valve become more coaxial to the anatomy, and then go much higher, start at say 1 millimeter on the non-coronary side where the pigtail is, and then it'll meet on the other side much nicer.
And this is what it is. So Ganesh, you'll have a look at it again.
You know,
This is what we are.
This is where we are.
This actually looks okay now.
Looks much
And-
better now. Huh?
This looks okay.
Yeah.
So again we will start going. Inject. Are you injecting? Huh? Stop. Our injector is not ready yet.
Okay.
just curious
the
for
injector and we need
the
a read
our
every day.
users, how many cases are you actually having to resheet, reposition on a routine
5
basis?
ml.
Means,
Give
I
in.
think Ganesh,
Inject.
do you have and Raj, do you
Well,
have
the,
a
the
percentage?
company says that not more than 3. And if you do that, then you should go back
I
and
know
change the
that. I'm
valve.
just asking what your own practice is.
Ready?
There are times, the times
Inject
we do
5 ml.
more than that.
Yeah. No, so the question is actually in your practice, if you are doing
10%.
say 100 cases, in how many
Inject
cases
5
you
ml.
need to resheath and reposition?
And about 10% in my,
In about 10% in your practice.
Maybe more in the
I would say, you know, we tend to maybe 20, but
I think one of the important things people have to understand is resheathing and repositioning is there for
Okay,
but
give
the
5
aim,
ml.
aim should be always implant and the first shot.
Good.
Because
Okay.
the more you
So
resheath
let's-
and
yeah.
reimplant, the risk of stroke may be higher. So it's, and in some valves like Lotus, maybe even the risk of pacemaker is higher because there's an interaction between LVOT and the valve.
Okay,
So
let's check 5 ml.
what you need to eliminate is in challenging
Okay.
anatomies, I think
going,
it is
going on,
it's,
and
a-
pace.
it's essential to do it. But in
Keep going,
straightforward
Bernard.
cases, I think you can do it
Keep
first
going,
shot.
Bernard. Keep going.
Dr. Manoj,
Keep going.
what are
Keep
the
going, keep going, keep
downsides
going,
of
keep going, keep
undersizing
going,
the
keep going,
valves,
keep going,
29?
keep
What are the
going.
problems expected in this case?
The valve will try slipping into the LVOT as you're releasing.
Yeah, let's see it now.
It looks much nicer now.
Stop. Okay, I'm going to take an injection, let the pressures come up. And the pressures come up very nicely. And again, let's look at it now.
This is looking good in the left, non-coronary side. So.
This is better.
I think it's a better position, no?
I would just give I think a slight traction on the system now when you're unsheathing so that it doesn't dive down, especially the calcification
Traction?
is not heavy.
Right. That, correct. That's what I'm going to do now. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
would
to
not
actually
push it too
Well,
much.
I want to use the traction in this case. Huh? I think there is a risk because we are very low in the non-coronary
Yes, yes.
sinus.
So we're going to keep neutral. I'm saying we're going to keep neutral.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
not
important.
push or pull because I think we don't want to pop out either. So,
Yeah.
but we're going to release it now. So, okay, so go on, release.
Okay, you remove the tension on the
Yeah,
wire?
I'll remove the tension on the wire.
Okay. I will go very slowly for the release, very, very slowly. I think it's important at this step to be very slow.
Yep. And would you use pacing at this time in certain patients, Bernard?
No, I think now all the work is done, so
Sometimes, yes, we keep the pacing on.
very nice.
It came up a little bit.
So Raj, when do you, which
Okay,
phase
so
do
now
you
we're
use
going to
pacing?
actually.
If you are using Evolute, is the start of it,
So
middle
I
of it,
think that
or
it's
towards the
deployed
end of
fairly
it?
well.
It's, you know, it's actually, at the very beginning you don't, and then we go ahead and start to pace at about 100, and then we tend to go faster and go up on the rate to about 130 or so.
Right.
And I think there are different ways of doing it. We
So
saw a
nose
very
cone
nice
is
slow way,
in.
but then the second time around they went much faster.
And so we're bringing the nose cone back slowly.
How is the ECG? No
keep it.
branch block?
ECG is no one.
ECG is okay, there is no LBBB.
Should we see what we are? Okay, so we'll bring the. Can we just get it further down?
Yes.
Is it possible
It's okay,
to look at the TOE short axis or long axis?
Your hemodynamics looking very nice. Huh? Your diastolic is
Yeah.
60.
So how
which is
does the
great.
TOE look? So it tells me there's more than mild paravalvular leak, while on the central pressures, we have.
We have the wire also inside.
Yeah, we must remember that the wire's in there. And so I'm just going to get the pigtail back. And let's see that. Give me the wire to get the pigtail back.
Yes.
So you're going
You
to
see,
keep,
there was a balance between not having the valve pop out, because of the fact that it was slightly undersized, and yet making sure that you actually have the best possible.
It's important to consider that we reshift, so we need more time to expand.
Yeah.
Because
So, Bernard is. You say that, Bernard.
yeah, more you reshift, more you have a slow expansion. So it's important to take time to assess the PVL. If you have reshift one or two times.
Good. Pressures look good.
Ashok, we have got only 2 minutes left for transmission. What we can do is,
Correct.
we can go for a talk, we can do the talk, and we can come back to you if possible to show the end result. But it's a brilliant case by you and the team, and
Yeah.
shows that a slow controlled deployment, and you did demonstrate very nicely repositioning in a horizontal aorta, which is absolutely brilliant. Any questions from the audience or the panel?
And I'm just going to take a shot also.
Okay, I think,
Pull back.
yep.
And I'm just going to take a final picture. But remember that the wire is in, so there's going to be an AR. But at least you'll be able to see what we have. Inject. Yeah. Can we inject? Huh? Okay, so let's take the wire out anyway. I mean, let's
Okay.
remove the wire. Now, do you guys remove it with a pigtail in it, or do you just pull it out?
No, I use for confidence. I prefer to put a pigtail or.
So that's what I would like to do. So let's have this out and then put a pigtail and then take the confidence
Okay.
out. So I'm
Can
taking.
you leave this out?
So you keep that wire there.
One of the important things about
I'm
self-expanding
pulling
technology
this
is to
out.
wait for 10 to
Vijay,
15
just
minutes
look at the-
after
look at
release,
the- look at the
especially if
picture
you have
and
resheathed
look at
it,
the
as
wire
Bernard said. By
carefully.
waiting, it allows the valve to fully expand. So acting on anything now would be not right.
Okay, now give me the pigtail.
Isn't it also important that if you are using these valves in extremely calcified
Everything looks very
anatomy,
stable.
you do look at expansion in another view as well, because
Everything
you may
looks very
find
stable
that
and
in
very
another
good.
view, you may find that the anterior-posterior diameter, for example, may be constrained, and you would use a BAV at that point, or post-dilatation.
And by the way, you can see that the diastolic pressures are gradually creeping up. Where we started 45, just look at the wire. We started at 45, they're getting up to 60, 65. So again, showing that the valve is gradually expanding. And we're now taking the confida out. We can measure the pullback, we can measure the gradients now. Flush.
Sure, the hemodynamics looks great.
And,
The
this is
diastolic
where
60
we have-
is really,
Yeah.
no matter what I see angiographically, I'll be
Yeah,
extremely.
the diastolic is okay. It's above 60.
Yeah, so no
We
matter
now
what I see
have the-
angiographically, I
Let's
probably
have the
will do
gradient. The
nothing here.
gradient is 0.
That's brilliant. I think if you're using
Okay,
echo, you
and-
can use echo as well in case you have removed the wire for whatever reason. I don't think it's necessary to cross and demonstrate the gradient. If you're using echo, you can use it on echo.
Can we see the pressure screen?
Yeah, okay.
also the
He
TE.
just pulled it out of the left ventricle,
Okay.
but you have the TE. And can we actually do an aortogram here? We're ready for the aortogram, and therefore we're just going to do the aortogram.
Okay. I think we'll see the aortogram and then go for our talk, so that we finish the session on time.
Okay.
So,
15. Just means set back. Okay. Deep row back, please. Okay. And here we are. Inject.
it's a very
What do you
nice
think of
result.
that?
Great result.
Very nice result. I think the whole team, I think we should give a big applause. And thank you very much, and we'll hopefully see you soon. So, again, a brilliant case
Very
done
soon,
by a
very
team
soon.
from
Thank you.
Fortis.
Thank
led by
you.
Dr. Seth. And we'll go to our next talk, Dr. Kim.